a hold of the minds of the people. He couldn't have people that were well educated and thought for themselves in his way, so he sent them out.
Right.
So
The first thing you gotta do is get rid of the critical thinkers.
You know what, that's so interesting though,
Got to get
because
rid of the critical
I
thinkers.
think that a lot of the most dangerous people in America right now are the well-educated ones that are, well-educated,
Buy into-
Because they're not critical thinkers.
Well, they may be, but they buy into the philosophy that
World
government can
views.
do everything. And it should expand and be a one world government or something.
And their
like that.
education makes them powerful, but it's not this broad
Right.
liberal education. It's narrowed by their specializing, or it's narrowed by their worldview or something. They've learned a lot of stuff and it makes them dangerous or powerful, and yet it's not the same thing that we're talking about with the broad basic
Right.
education.
right,
Right. It's a liberal agenda that they've been taught and they've swallowed. And so in my mind they don't think critically because they don't look at both sides. And they're not trained to solve problems. They're trained to promote an agenda. And I'm sure that Mao used the same thing. Once you've got this going, you can just promote that agenda because that's all they're learning. If you've taken all the critical thinkers who had a broad education and shoved them out of the way so that the cities don't have access to them or the general population, then there you go, no more critical thinking.
yes. So the last principle that I wanted to touch on, because I just have 2 minutes, is that, no, that's good. I think the discussion's been really, really good. I knew that there was no way to talk about China in half an hour. Even the little bit I've learned about it. But some of the things I've learned is that it is a huge country with a huge population, and it's very dangerous for us to put labels on what they're doing or what the people are doing without really knowing.
Why is that dangerous?
It's dangerous because we think, oh, the Chinese are communist. The Chinese...
The government is communist.
The government is
People.
communist. They are trying to take over the world. They have lent us this money, and they can rule over us because they have lent us money. My opinion is, we borrowed the money. We're the ones that are in debt. We made that choice ourselves.
And the borrower is always slave to the lender.
Right.
So yes, we chose that.
So,
And it's not the Chinese people. I think that's where we go wrong. We forget that the government is making choices, not the people of China. The people of China are also under the same slavery to that government. That's not the heart of the people.
well, and then the other thing is the work ethic in China. Incredible. Those people work very, very hard. And we have we hear, this product made in China was maybe, the person at the factory didn't have good living conditions, and the sweat, they're making the clothing and they don't have proper ventilation, they don't have the proper whatever they need to do that. You know what? Those people are working. They're working for what they have. Is that worse than just saying, oh, we have, in America, there are some things in China that we would not put up with. I mean, there's some things in America that we would not put up with that are a part of regular Chinese life. Squat pots. There's a lot of things that we wouldn't put up with. But isn't it better? Somehow it's better for me to see them working than it is to have the dole and the free lunches and the community centers where they have dances for elderly people. And I don't know, who are we to say which is better?
Well, and in my mind, I think they're both slavery. And entitlement, how is giving someone an entitlement and making them dependent any different than causing someone to work from the time before the sun comes up to until the sun goes down for a meager living. How is that different? It enslaves us, doesn't it, in both cases?
Well, you know, at least with the
With the work,
you have somewhere to go.
well, and a pride in working.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and some value that you create and, yeah.
yeah, it might be boring, you know, we went to some machine factories where the person sat there all day putting the metal into the machine would plump and then go out. Drive any of us crazy for 5 minutes, and they do this day after day after day after day after day. But you know what? They're making something. So, I mean, this is just something to bring up to try to expand our thinking a little bit, because we
And the
have,
mental toughness to be able to do that all day.
I know, it's just
What?
amazing. So, you know, we heard our students at the university say, because they would have some cultural literacy kind of classes, and there was some broad things that they say about Americans, which may be true of a lot of Americans, but some of them certainly were not true to me personally. So we just got to be a little careful. The other principle that we talk about in our class is that of land ownership, the right to life, liberty, and property. All of the property in China is owned by the Chinese government. There's no
Now, are you
private
talking
ownership of
about
land.
just all land, or
All
do
land.
they consider everything they have to be the Chinese government? I mean, is it almost like all of our blessings come from God? Is it that same kind of a thing from the Chinese government, or
No,
is it just
the land? I'm
just
talking about the
land?
land. I'm
Okay.
talking about the land. You cannot really hold the Chinese down from selling stuff. They just do it. It's not going to work. From my observation, people were working. You know, maybe not the smartest way, maybe not the best way, but people were working. But the land is owned by the government. But there are a lot of businesses, and it's when we talked about the opening up with Deng Xiaoping, there is a lot of free enterprise in China, don't you think, Richard?
Yeah, there's a lot.
A whole lot. And maybe, you know, there are government restrictions and stuff like that, but I'm not so sure there's more government
Is
restrictions.
it stuff that goes under
here.
Is it stuff that flies under the radar? Is it more like black market kind of free enterprise?
No, the
No.
opening up was allowing people the incentive to keep a profit. That's not a communist principle.
Yeah.
But they allow